This video is going to go through the procedure to drill new holes on the underside of the longer slab counter, as we call it, and the other side, which is a smaller counter, which is called the feed counter. So if you happen to have a counter where the holes are not aligning with the slots that are located on the middle, on the top edge, and these are all slots with room to make adjustment, what we'll do is go through what you need to do to remark and drill so that all the holes underneath the counter align. Here's the procedure for drilling new holes. Okay, here's a counter, it's upside down. You can see we have holes on each length. There's 3, and 2 at the ends. And what we're going to be doing is marking new positions for new holes that will align with the slots that are in the table channels. This is the edge that's going to face the roller. This is the edge that's going to have the aluminum angle that screws into the side and also faces the roller. And this is the underside that has holes in it to sync with the table. Now, to determine whether your machine is correct or not, if you tape the end here and you measure to the center of the hole, if it's somewhere between slightly under 5 by a 1/16 or so, or more than 5 by a 1/16 or so, then this is the incorrect dimension. It should have been in the 4-inch range, like about 4 1/8 or so. So we need to correct that. And the way we're going to do that is create some marks. Now we have a total of 3 holes on the length here. We have 3 holes on the length on the other side. And we have 2 holes at the end that have to do with the width of your table and on the width channel metal. And by the way, you have a hole that's going to have a screw that'll go into a slot. So in the metal, it's actually a slot that allows you to adjust the counter back and forth so you get best precision meeting of the final tightening of counter to aluminum angle to the roller itself. And the instructions explain that. So if I come here and I measure down, I'll get the tape measure to create a line going basically through the center of every hole. If I come back and I just measure 3/4 in towards this side and place a mark, I've made a little crosshair, and I come to the middle mark and do the same. I'm coming from the center to here, 3/4 of an inch, and at the end, same deal, 3/4 of an inch, and I make a square. Then these are all set for drilling. I do exactly the same thing over here. Again, 3/4 of an inch in and make a center point or a hatch, make the plus sign, 1 here and 1 here. And that's ready for drilling. Now these are the 2 holes in the width. And this too needs to move a 3/4 inch this direction. So you would clip the table. You could use a ruler, by the way, same deal, and make it parallel to the side. If you're ever wondering if you got it parallel, then just measure. And like here I have 3.5, and I have 3.5, so I know I'm parallel. And I just come in 3/4 of an inch, make a mark, go to the other side, it's the same deal. And I could take the tape, make sure I have the correct measurement there, and it's parallel. And then once again, I'll go 3/4 of an inch and make a mark. So now everything's ready to drill. Let's have a closer look for a moment. Here's the hole that existed, and this is that hatch, 3/4 of an inch towards the cut side that I place there. So that's the kind of mark I put because it gives me a dead center to place the drill. We'll take a moment and look at the feed counter, the shorter one. And this counter is 16 inches front to back. Here's the cut side. There's no aluminum that goes on this side. And here's the first hole. So when we go and measure this, this should be 4 1/4 inches. And here you can see we're about 3 1/2. Again, it doesn't have to be exactly 3 1/2, but in that proximity. So what we're going to do this time is make a mark 3/4 of an inch this way, further from the roller. So here I'm going. I have this nice and parallel to the edge, and I've made my crosshair, and there's the 3/4 inches out. And the same thing will go here. And actually, I'll switch to the ruler, because you might want to, when you place it down, you can always measure from here to the edge and here to the edge to make sure it's parallel to the side wall. And then come in to the hole, measure the 3/4 inch, which I'm doing now, 3/4 from center to center, and make the mark. And we do the exact same on the other side, and this is ready for drilling as well. We're at the point that we're ready to drill some holes. So here we got the drill and a 7/64 drill in the chuck, tightened in. And to prevent over drilling, because the counter is 3/4 of an inch thick, we only want to pre-drill with about a 1/2 inch of depth into the wood. We don't want a chance going over to the other side. So I've taken some masking tape and wrapped it around the end of the drill. So I've left a 1/2 inch from tip to this edge to give myself a visual reference. So this is ready to go. Now, to prevent a drill from kind of moving from your target, you can take a nail or a punch and put the center right on the center point of your mark and just give it a little tap. And this is now slightly indented, the material, so it gives a home for the drill so it doesn't move as you start to drill down. I'm going to do the same thing right here. Didn't take much. We can zoom in and just have, oh look, you can see I've got a definite little impression there that is, as I call it, a home. Okay, so now I'm going to come in and rest right in there. And that's it. If you're uncertain, blow it away, and you'll see the depth, okay? And that's what you're going to follow all the way through. You might want to double check your tape here and make sure you didn't push it back. Make sure you still got about a 1/2 inch, which that's just fine, is a pre-drill depth. And that's it. From the point in time you have those drilled, you're just going to mount it on top of the frame and start tightening in the screws and following the directions from that point forward.